Hey, what's up guys? Steve here. And today we're going to take a look at the 50 highest selling 1948 through 1979 vintage sports cards from the pwcc weekly auction that ended on February 18th. And we'll kick today's list off at number 50 with this 1964 Topps Roberto Clemente card number 440. This was an SGC 7 and it sold for $564. Up next at number 49 is this 1948 Bowman Bob Feller card number 5. This was a PSA 5 and it also sold for $564. Coming in at number 48 is this 1968 Topps Mickey Mantle card number 280. This was also a PSA 5 and it sold for $576. Up next at number 47 is this 1952 Topps Vern Stevens card number 84. This was a PSA 8 and it sold for $600 even. Coming in at number 46 is this 1963 Fleer Roberto Clemente card number 56. This was a PSA 8 and it sold for $630. Mickey Mantle's back at number 45 with his 1958 Topps All-Star card with card number 487. This was a BVG 7 and it sold for $630. We get our first vintage hockey card to make the list at number 44 with this 1954 Parkhurst Lucky Premium Back Johnny Bower rookie card number 65. This rookie was in a PSA 7 and it sold for $660. Up next at number 43 is this 1951 Bowman Phil Rizzuto card number 26. This was a BVG 8.5 and it also sold for $660. We get our first vintage basketball card at number 42 with this 1975 Topps Julius Erving All-Star card number 300. This was a PSA 9 and it sold for $690. Coming in at number 41 is this 1951 Topps Redback Bob Feller card number 22. This was a PSA 9 and it also sold for just short of $700. Up next at number 40 is this 1975 Topps Thurman Munson card number 20. This was a PSA 9 and it sold for $750. We're back to vintage hockey at number 39 with this 1955 Parkhurst Howie Morenz card number 57. This was a PSA 8 and it sold for $780. Coming in at number 38 is this 1954 Topps Warren Spahn card number 20. This was a PSA 8 and it sold for $870. Up next at number 37 is this 1954  1954 Parkhurst Maurice Richard, card number 7. This was a PSA 8 and it sold for $870. Up next at number 37 is this 1954 Parkhurst Maurice Richard, card number 7. Up next at number 38 is this 1954 Parkhurst Maurice Richard, card number 7. This was a PSA 8 and it sold for $870. Up next at number 37 is this 1954 Parkhurst Maurice Richard, card number 7. This was a PSA 7, and it sold for $900 even. We're back to vintage baseball at number 36 with this 1955 Bowman Mickey Mantle, card number 202. This was a PSA 4, and it sold for $930. Coming in at number 35 is this 1961 Topps Mickey Mantle All-Star, card number 578. This was a PSA 8, and it sold for $990. Make that 3 straight appearances at number 34 with this 1957 Topps Mickey Mantle, card number 95. This was a PSA 5, and it also sold for just short of $1,000. Up next at number 33 is this 1971 Topps Reggie Jackson, card number 20. This was an SGC 8, and it sold for $1,020. We're back to vintage football at number 32 with this 1965 Topps Fred Biletnikoff rookie, card number 133. This was a PSA 7, and it sold for $1,050. Coming in at number 31 is this 1962 Topps Manager's Dream featuring Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays, card number 18. This was an SGC 7.5, and it also sold for $1,050. And kicking off the top 30 of today's list is this 1969 Topps Mickey Mantle last name in white, card number 500. This was a PSA 4, and it sold for $1,080. Make that back-to-back top 30 appearances at number 29. With this 1956 Topps Mickey Mantle, card number 135. This was a PSA 3, and it sold for $1,110. Up next at number 28 is this 1953 Topps Jackie Robinson, card number 1. This was a PSA 3, and it sold for $1,200. Make that back-to-back newcomers to the list at number 27 with this 1965 Topps Pete Rose, card number 207. This was a PSA 8, and it sold for $1,320. Coming in at number 26 is this 1954 Bowman Mickey Mantle, card number 65. This was an SGC 4.5, and it sold for $1,320. Make that back-to-back appearances at number 25 with this 1958 Topps Mickey Mantle, card number 150. This was a PSA 6, and it sold for $1,440. We're back to vintage hockey at number 24 with this 1953 Parkhurst Gordie Howe, card number 50. This was a PSA 7, and it sold for $1,470. Up next at number 23 is this 1954 Topps Hank Aaron rookie, card number 128. This rookie was in a SGC 1, and it also sold for $1,470. We're back to vintage basketball at number 22 with this 1969 Topps Kareem Abdul-Jabbar rookie, card number 25. This was a PSA 8 with the OC qualifier, and it sold for $1,530. Coming in at number 21 is this 1964 Topps stand-up Mickey Mantle. This was a PSA 7, and it sold for just short of $1,600. And kicking off the top 20 of today's list is this 1953 Bowman Color Mickey Mantle, card number 59. This was a PSA 4, and it sold for $1,920. Make that 3 straight appearances at number 19 with this 1953 Topps Mickey Mantle, card number 82. This was a PSA 1.5, and it sold for just over $2,000. Up next at number 18 is this 1953 Topps Satchel Paige, card number 220. This was an SGC 6, and it sold for $2,070. Coming in at number 17 is this 1953 Parkhurst Maurice Richard, card number 24. This was a PSA 7, and it sold for $2,100. Coming in at number 16 is this 1952 Bowman Mickey Mantle, card number 101. This was a PSA 2, and it sold for $2,100. Up next at number 15 is this 1979 Topps Ozzie Smith rookie, card number 116. This rookie was in a PSA 9, and it sold for $2,220. Coming in at number 14 is this 1954 Dandy Potato Chips Mickey Mantle. This was an SGC 2, and it sold for $2,340. Up next at number 13 is this 1965 Topps Bob Gibson, card number 320. This was a PSA 9, and it sold for $2,520. We're back to vintage basketball at number 12 with this 1978 Topps Julius Erving, card number 130. This was a PSA 10, and it sold for $2,640. Coming in at number 11 is this 1953 Bowman Color featuring Yogi Berra, Mickey Mantle, and Hank Bauer, card number 44. This was an SGC 8, and it sold for $2,760. And kicking off the top 10 of today's list is this 1954 Red Heart Mickey Mantle. This was a PSA 7, and it sold for $3,360. Coming in at number 9 is this 1951 Bowman Willie Mays rookie, card number 305. This was a PSA altered but authenticated slab, and it sold for $3,720. We're back to vintage hockey at number 8 with this 1952 Parkhurst Tim Horton rookie, card number 58. This was a PSA 7, and it sold for $4,320. Up next at number 7 is this 1952 Topps Willie Mays, card number 261. This was a BCC G7, and it sold for $4,320. Coming in at number 6 is this 1952 Bowman Mickey Mantle, card number 101. This was a PSA 4.5, and it also sold for $4,320. Alright guys, before we get to the top 5, I do have 5 quick bonus cards to share with you today. And I was mainly looking for players that missed the top 50. And we'll start off with this 1969 Topps Oscar Robinson, card number 50. This was an SGC 8, and it sold for $528. Alright guys, and for a Hall of Fame baseball player that missed the top 50, we get this 1979 OPC Nolan Ryan, card number 51. This was a PSA 9, and it sold for $432. Heading back to vintage basketball for a third bonus card, we get this 1972 Topps Wilt Chamberlain, card number 1. This was an SGC 8.5, and it sold for $348. Up next is this 1975 Topps George Brett rookie, card number 228. This rookie was in a PSA 7, and it sold for $312. Alright guys, and for our fifth and final bonus card, there was not a ton of vintage football up for this weekly auction. I had to scroll all the way through the listings, but I did run across this 1977 Topps Steve Largent rookie auto, card number 177. This was a PSA DNA authenticated auto, and it sold for $105.60. And kicking off the top 5 of today's list is this 1976 Topps Walter Payton rookie, card number 148. This was a PSA 9, and it sold for $4,680. Up next at number 4 is this 1967 Topps Roberto Clemente, card number 400. This was a PSA 9, and it sold for $4,800. We're headed to vintage basketball at number 3 with this 1972 Topps Julius Erving rookie, card number 195. This was a BVG 9, and it sold for $5,160. Coming in at number 2 is this 1951 Bowman Mickey Mantle rookie, card number 253. This was a PSA 2.5, and it sold for $100 short of $10,000. And topping off today's list at number 1 is this 1979 OPC Wayne Gretzky rookie, card number 18. This was a BVG 9, and it sold for $19,800. Thanks for joining me today, guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.